My sister lifted her wineglass and smirked across the table. Everyone meet my fiancé. He's a ranger. Trevor gave that confident military grin people practice in mirrors. My mother clapped proudly beside him. Then Chelsea looked directly at me and laughed. Meanwhile, Maya still wears that fake tactical Halloween costume to work. A few people chuckled. I kept cutting my steak.
Calm.
Quiet. The same way I handled interrogations. Chelsea loved turning family dinners into performances. Tonight, I was the punchline again. Trevor leaned back casually. What branch are you in? Federal Task Force, I answered. Chelsea rolled her eyes immediately.
Please.
She stamps paperwork and acts mysterious about it. I ignored her and reached for my jacket hanging beside the chair. The sleeve shifted under the dining room light. Trevor's smile disappeared. His eyes locked onto the black and gold patch stitched near my shoulder. He stopped breathing for a second. Actually froze. Then his chair scraped backward hard enough to shake the dishes. He stood instantly and snapped to attention like instinct had taken over his body. Ma'am, he said sharply. Chelsea started laughing again. Trevor, what are you doing? He never looked away from me. Maya, he barked quietly. Does your sister seriously not know what that patch means? Nobody at the table moved. Chelsea stared at Trevor like he'd suddenly started speaking another language. My father lowered his fork slowly. My mother looked embarrassed for me, which somehow felt worse. Trevor stayed standing. Rigid posture. Focused eyes. Respect I hadn't asked for. Chelsea laughed nervously. Okay, enough military theater. Sit down. He ignored her completely. Ma'am, I didn't recognize you without your field gear. That sentence sucked the air from the room. I set my napkin beside my plate carefully. Relax, Trevor. You're off duty. His jaw tightened. With respect, I can't do that. Chelsea's smile finally cracked. Why are you talking to my sister like that? He looked at her then. Really looked at her. Because your sister trained people attached to operations most soldiers never hear about. Silence. Heavy and immediate. My father frowned at me. Maya, what exactly do you do? Same question. 15 years straight. Nobody ever listened to the answer. Chelsea folded her arms. She's exaggerating again. Trevor's expression hardened instantly. No, she isn't. My mother whispered. Maya, is this classified? I almost smiled. Most of it. Chelsea pushed back from the table suddenly. Oh my God. You're actually encouraging this fantasy? Trevor's face changed completely. Fantasy, he repeated coldly. Chelsea stood there gripping her wineglass too tightly. I could see the panic starting beneath her anger. She hated losing control of her room. Trevor finally sat down, but his posture stayed stiff. Respectful. Careful. Like one wrong sentence could trigger consequences he understood better than anyone else there. Chelsea forced out a laugh. Okay, enough. Maya always does this mysterious secret agent routine. I never talk about work, I said quietly. That's the problem, she snapped. You disappear for months, skip holidays, ignore calls, then walk back and expecting everyone to think you're important. The words landed harder than I expected, because part of them was true. My father nodded slowly. Your sister has a point. Trevor looked genuinely uncomfortable now. He glanced between us like he'd stepped into a minefield. Chelsea leaned toward him. Tell them what she really does. He answered carefully. I can't. She blinked. What? I legally can't discuss certain operations or personnel. That silenced her for exactly 3 seconds. Then she laughed louder than before. You're both insane. My phone vibrated against the table. One short buzz. Priority line. I ignored it. A second vibration came immediately after. Then a third. Trevor noticed first. His expression tightened instantly when he saw the red notification banner lighting my screen. Chelsea reached for the phone before I could stop her. And read the sender name aloud. Joint Counterterrorism Command? Chelsea's face drained so fast it looked painful. The dining room went completely silent except for the soft hum of the chandelier above us. My phone kept vibrating against the table between her fingers. She stared at the screen. This isn't real. I held my hand out calmly. Give me the phone. Instead, she read the message preview aloud. Priority recall. Phoenix team compromise. Her voice cracked halfway through. Trevor stood again immediately. Instinct. Training. Fear. My father looked at me differently for the first time in my life. Not warmly. Not proudly. Carefully. Like he'd just discovered a stranger living inside his own family. Chelsea forced out another shaky laugh. Okay, somebody explain this joke. It's not a joke, Trevor said quietly. She turned toward him sharply. You knew about this? No, he answered. But I know enough. I took the phone from her hand before another notification appeared. My pulse had already changed. Slower. Sharper. Operational. My mother whispered. Maya, are people hurt? I checked the message fully this time. 3 names attached below the alert. 1 highlighted red. My stomach tightened instantly. Trevor noticed my expression. Who? I locked the screen without answering. Chelsea crossed her arms again, but the confidence was gone now. You expect me to believe you're running around stopping terrorists? I looked directly at her. No, I said softly. I expect you to understand why mocking my uniform was incredibly stupid. Nobody touched their food after that. The candles kept burning between us, while the entire mood of the room collapsed into something cold and unfamiliar. Chelsea looked angry, but underneath it, I could finally see fear settling in. I stood and reached for my jacket. I have to go. My mother grabbed my wrist gently. Maya, wait. Are you in danger? I almost lied automatically. Years of training. Years of protecting people by keeping them ignorant. But the message sitting in my phone wasn't routine. Phoenix team never triggered emergency recall unless something catastrophic happened. I don't know yet, I admitted. Trevor stepped closer immediately. Do you need transport? Chelsea stared at him. You cannot be serious. He ignored her again. Ma'am, I can drive myself. My father finally spoke. Quiet. Uneasy. Why didn't you ever tell us? That question hurt more than Chelsea's insults ever could. I looked around the table slowly, because every time I tried, you all decided who I was before listening. Nobody answered. Chelsea scoffed weakly. This is unbelievable. My phone rang this time. Not a message. Direct, secure line. Every muscle in my body tightened instantly. I answered without taking my eyes off Chelsea. Morrison. A male voice came through, sharp and urgent. Agent Morrison, we have a leak. Your name was exposed 30 minutes ago. Trevor's expression changed instantly, because he heard it too. The room tilted for half a second. Not emotionally. Operationally. My brain immediately started calculating routes, exposure points, family proximity, surveillance possibilities. Who confirmed it? I asked. Internal Affairs intercepted chatter overseas. Your task force file is circulating on encrypted channels. Chelsea whispered. Oh my God. The voice continued. You need immediate relocation. Team already en route. I looked through the dining room window automatically. Quiet suburban street. Decorative porch lights. Neighbors walking dogs. Normal life. Fragile life. How long do I have? Unknown. That word landed heavier than gunfire ever could. Trevor moved beside the curtains carefully, scanning outside now without even realizing he was doing it. Training always reveals itself under pressure. Chelsea stared between us, pale and trembling. Maya, what's happening? I ended the call and slipped the phone away. Everybody stays inside tonight. My father stood abruptly. You're scaring your mother. No, Trevor corrected quietly. She's protecting her. A black SUV rolled slowly past the house outside. Too slow. Trevor saw it too. Our eyes met instantly. The vehicle kept moving another 20 feet before stopping near the curb. Engines still running. Dark windows. My pulse flattened into absolute calm. Worst sign possible. Chelsea stepped toward the window before I caught her arm hard. Lights off, I ordered sharply. Now. Then someone knocked once at the front door. 3 precise knocks. Not neighbors. Not police. My mother gasped softly as the house went dark. Trevor killed the dining room switch instantly while my father froze beside the table, confused and angry. Chelsea looked seconds away from panicking completely. The knock came again. 3 measured hits against the wood. Patient. Controlled. I moved toward the hallway closet and pulled out my emergency case from beneath the coats. Trevor's eyes widened slightly when he saw how fast my hands worked. Chelsea whispered, "You keep that here?" "I keep one everywhere." Inside sat a compact sidearm, credentials, burner phone, and medical kit. My father stared at the weapon like he didn't recognize me anymore. Another knock. Closer this time somehow. Then a male voice.
"Come."
Federal delivery for Maya Morrison. Trevor looked at me immediately. That's wrong. He was right. Federal couriers never announce agencies at residential doors. Real operators avoid details. Fake ones perform them. I chambered around quietly. My mother covered her mouth. Chelsea backed away from the windows shaking. "Call the police." I already triggered emergency response. The SUV engine outside finally shut off. Silence crashed over the neighborhood. Then came footsteps across the porch. More than one person. Trevor moved beside me automatically now.
"Fear gone."
Focus replacing it. My father whispered, "Maya, who are these people?" I checked the security feed on my burner phone. For men outside. Tactical clothing. No visible insignias. One lifted his head slowly toward the hidden camera and smiled directly into it. Chelsea started crying quietly the moment she saw the screen. Not dramatic sobbing. Real fear. The kind that strips pride out of a person within seconds. The man outside kept smiling into the camera like he already knew the house belonged to him. Then red and blue lights exploded across the street. Multiple vehicles.
Fast.
Aggressive. The men outside reacted instantly. One reached for his radio, while another turned toward the SUV. Too late. Unmarked federal trucks blocked both ends of the road within seconds. Armed agents flooded the street with terrifying precision. Trevor exhaled hard beside me. Jesus. The porch men dropped fast. Hands restrained. Faces pressed into concrete. Professional.
Clean.
Controlled. My secure phone rang again. "Scene contained," the director said. "Leak traced internally. You were targeted for intimidation, Agent Morrison." I looked around the dark dining room afterward. My family looked back at me like they were finally seeing the years they ignored. The missed birthdays. The scars. The silence. Chelsea wiped her face slowly. "I thought you made everything up." I holstered my weapon carefully. "I know." Trevor stepped toward me first. Respectful again. "For what it's worth, man. Rangers hear stories about people like you." That almost made me laugh. Almost. Chelsea lowered her eyes finally. "I'm sorry, Maya." For the first time all night, I believed her.